In Mayhem, you're not getting the point. You keep saying, "Oh, people were selfless, and 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 we should use the point of view of the universe." Okay, first of all, you should really answer why we should use the point of view of the universe when you say the universe is, an asshole, basically. But the point is, I'm saying, yeah, we should use, the frame of reference of what's good for humankind. I'm calling that a more enlightened frame of reference than what's just good for me personally. And I've described how we get from one to the other. For one, we have built in this brain, you know, some sort of faculties that cause grouping behavior. We're social animals. So yeah, we can have a shared sense of oneness. We can have a sense of oneness with our family. I can sacrifice myself for my child and feel that's in my best interest because of my feeling of unity and of identity with that child as family. Okay? It's that sameness. And I can have the same feeling for the human race, and I can see that things like slavery are not in the best interest of the human race. Yeah, it might be hard to see that if I'm the slave owner, but it's possible. It's possible to see it if I'm the slave owner. But to the degree that it's not, well, then it's all the rest of us against the slave owner because he's stuck in his personal self-interest, and we're not. Yeah, it might be easier if you're the slave to realize, wait, this isn't in our best interest. And there's more slaves than slave owners, so I think that's going to work out. I think there's going to be a slave revolt. And for the rest of us that want to see this ahead of time and don't want to just be killed by a bunch of slaves that have legitimate grievances with us as slave owners, we could see why that's not going to work. We could see that, oh yeah, this isn't in the best interest of the human race. And the only thing you're not getting in this is that I, as an individual human, can have this feeling of being a part of the human race. And I can make judgments based on that point of view. And I do. And you're denying that it makes sense, but at the same time, you're making those kinds of judgments. You're making judgments that we should do things for what's good for the whole human race. So how did you get to that? You're an individual. You're selfish. You're this ape. How did you find out that it was in your best interest to have this broader sense of best interest? How did you discover that? And it's because human beings do have the ability to discover that. Okay, we even have built-in faculties that seem to push us in that direction. We can feel that comradeship, and we can feel that unity. We can see, the benefits of thinking on the scale of what's good for the whole human race. We have a desire. We have experiences, spiritual experiences, where we feel like we're growing and getting in touch with these more enlightened frames of reference. And you could say, no, we don't, but then how did you get that sense? I'm just describing how someone like you gets that sense. I'm explaining a moral phenomenon we already see, which is that people do get these enlightened ideas of self-interest. They do take it personally that we do something that benefits the whole human race. They do come to those conclusions, and I'm describing how. It's through a shared sense of identity. Some people have described how by, well, they're just saints and they like to do things that are selfless. I don't see the need for such an illogical explanation. I think instead they have managed to obtain an enlightened sense of self-interest, and they want to act in the way that's beneficial to their whole species or the whole planet. Okay? And I think that makes a lot more sense. So, what's the problem with that? It turns out it is in our best interest to have a good society. It is in our best interest to be environmental. It is in our best interest to have sustainable technologies. Why is that bad news? If it turns out we can argue those things are in our self-interest, why is that bad news? Why do we need to hold on to? No. People have to do things selflessly in order to achieve that. No, we're not doing it because it's in our worst interest. We're not abolishing slavery because it's in our worst interest. It's in our best interest to abolish slavery, and that's why we're doing it.